So today we'll be talking about personal branding and making yourself more marketable for employment. So we'll be looking at two different age groups. That will be your high school leavers as well as your college and university leavers, right? As well as some tools that they could use to be more marketable for employment. Straight into it, let's discuss the high school leavers, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of options, I know. So there's your learnerships, your apprenticeships, FET colleges, what else is there? College and university. Yeah. So just the two that really stand out for me is your learnerships and your apprenticeships, right? So just to explain the difference in terms of that is your learnerships are your programs for your high school leavers or your graduates to gain work experience actually in a company. That's essentially what learnership is, right?
Yeah.
And I know that usually lasts about 1 year. And your apprenticeship is more for people who want to learn a specific trade, right? So for example, you want to be a technician in Mercedes-Benz, right? That's essentially the trade that you're going to be specifically focusing on, and that's your apprenticeship. And then like I said, FET colleges, university, and your private colleges. And I went to a private college as well, so there are those options.
And from a learnership and apprentice, you can earn
so you earn a very minimal salary. You're getting paid, and you're getting some work experience, which on your CV is what a lot of companies look for 1 or 2 years experience when you just want to enter a company.
Okay.
So that's actually quite common for them to look for that.
Okay. So if like high school leavers don't want to do the jump into university or college, they can always pick that route.
They can pick that route because a lot of companies give that learnership experience to a lot of people, right? So that they have experience, in some sort of experience, in whatever trade it is, right? Yeah.
Option of furthering your education, right?
Yeah.
So we look at colleges and universities. You've completed your 3 or 4 years or whatever in your relevant field of study. Now you want to go look for a job, right? So first things first, I always want to say that from my experience that I feel like students should always research beforehand what they want to study.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's like you're stuck in between a rock and a hard place, because on one hand you want to study, what you really love, but what you really want to study isn't really relevant in this day and age.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to be forced to study the things that are relevant. Understand? So first things first, I think students should always look at researching industries with a projection of maybe 5 to 10 years plus. Right? What I mean by that is you look at industries that are relevant for the next decade.
Yeah.
So that even when you do finish
your
studies, you are relevant in the job market.
Yeah.
So things like IT, like IT,
definitely.
Software engineering,
IA. What about IA?
Yeah, artificial intelligence, programming, data technician, whatever, all those things, right? So research those things, find out which industries will obviously be relevant, study things that are relevant, so that you can obviously, remember we said the whole topic is about making yourself employable. Find things that are relevant to make yourself employable. And then once you have completed you're about to rather, don't wait until you finish, prepare beforehand, compile a list of companies that you want to work for.
Okay.
It's like they say, it's like fishing. There's 2 ways to fish. You can either hoy in a net and just hope for the best, or with the right bait,
you get the certain
same thing, right? So you should always like focus on the companies that you usually want to work for, right? So if you want to be a mechanical engineer, or petroleum engineer, look for companies in that relevant industry. Then from there, research that company. Find out who are the important people there. Who works in the departments that will most likely refer you to the right departments. So that when you do send emails and stuff, you send it to the right person.
Okay.
Right. Don't just be casting an empty net, So
Yeah.
research the company, know about the people, know about the relevant people, rather. Look for jobs that are in demand as well. Sometimes, in this day and age, someone can study finance but end up in a IT department.
Yeah, which is it's very common.
It's very common, you understand? So don't think just because you have a engineering or medical or law that
Degree,
any job, any job is you're above any job,
Yeah.
something. So
Yeah.
in this day and age, any amount of income that you can get your hands on, by all means, go for it. Until you get to a position where you can, by the grace
Yeah.
of, So look for jobs that are in demand.
So sorry, bro. So just to add on there.
Yeah.
So in terms of in demand, right? You also want to solve a problem.
Exactly.
Like we're a third world country, right? So essentially, you need to solve some sort of problem. We may look like we first world because we dress like we first world, but we essentially as a country we're a third world country. We haven't moved from there since I've been in high school, in primary school. I'm out of school. I'm still a third world country, right? So I think really look for a problem that you can solve, and that will help you also become more marketable and employable.
Exactly.
Another thing that helps people become more marketable and employable would be doing some voluntary work.
Yes.
That actually really helps people, to add to your CV as well. That helps you to become more employable in the sense that it shows that you have initiative, that you want to make a change in something, whether it be helping dogs, the vet, you go to the vet, help the SPCA, look after the dogs, try and get donations for the dogs, those type of things.
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. So that, like you said, is also quite important. And I think for anyone who's in high school or who's about to leave varsity or college, they can do those things that you just listed now.
Yeah.
To make themselves more employable.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no reason to not want to be in a FET college, in a private college, in a university, to do a learnership or apprenticeship, whatever it is you want to do. You can start your own business. I don't always advise it if you don't have the funds. Right? If you have the money available and you know what strategy you're going to use, your business strategy, right? Then go ahead, start a business straight after school.
Yeah.
But if you don't, I think in the current third world country, get a job. It will just make your life easier in the long run, especially when you're looking for loans.
Exactly.
Right? Because banks need that experience to see that you've had some sort of stability in your life for you to be approved for a bank loan. So.
And put your pride aside.
Definitely.
Yeah, put your pride aside.
Definitely.
Just get your money. No one's going to charge you. At the end of the day, it's about what you put on the table.
Yes. No, 100%. I fully agree, bro.
So I think the whole idea of this episode is, we want students in high school or college leavers, university leavers to be somewhat of a complete package.
Yeah.
So I want to also talk about equipping them with some very savvy tools that might help them get employment, right?
Yeah.
And one of those tools that I find very, very effective in this day and age is LinkedIn, bro.
Yeah.
LinkedIn is a very, very popular application.
Yeah, especially amongst employers,
Amongst employers, right? I don't know how many millions of businesses and business people are on that. It's a huge, it's like a WhatsApp, it's like a huge WhatsApp group for just networking.
Yeah.
So firstly, LinkedIn, before we can get into anything, please just download it first. Just get some data, hook yourself up to some Wi-Fi and download LinkedIn. And create an account, create a profile. Please use a nice picture.
Professional picture.
Professional picture. Dress neat, cut your hair, shave, bath. Just look nice, look presentable. People, first impression. What's the saying about first impressions? You don't get a
second chance to make a first impression. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So with LinkedIn, what I found very interesting in terms of the facts by consulting companies and all these things that when I researched is that what they found most effective, or the guidelines rather, on how to effectively use LinkedIn to make yourself more employable was that whenever you're looking for a job, you must always ask for referrals.
Okay.
Right. So say for example you want to apply for a job at ABSA.
Yeah.
And you know that someone at ABSA you know someone from EPSA, right? So you can always ask that person to refer you, right, to that position.
Okay.
Right. So referral is almost like I know a guy. He's very competent. He's very ABC, DEFG, whatever. So refer that person.
Okay.
Ask that person to refer you. You understand? So obviously on an online platform, because when you get LinkedIn, you have notifications of different like job openings and whatnot. So if you want to apply, and if you have maybe a connect from LinkedIn that you interact with, you can maybe say, just pop in a message and say, hey, I want to apply for this job and I know you work there. Can you please just squeeze in a word for me?
Yeah.
Then your chances of
it's higher.
higher.
I don't use it because I am employed, so I just choose not to use it, and I'm not looking to move from my current company, right, that I'm employed at. So I don't use it much. But I think for people who are who leave in high school and going to the next step of their life, or even people who are graduates and trying to find employment, using the tool will be very effective. A lot of them have an auto response. As soon as you accept, it gives this auto response message to you, right? But if you respond, you actually get a personalized message, and you can talk to the person and get their view from what the company is about and so forth. I've had it with property investors as well. They're trying to expand their networking market for property investments. Yeah,
it makes sense, because like you said, it's a huge networking.
It's huge, man.
Environment, but you can usually link up with someone who's life changing, whatever. So you obviously want to make sure your profile is on point.
Yeah.
You also need to keep updating your profile
regularly,
right? Especially in terms of like your career interests, right? So if you obviously, I feel like your career interests will keep changing. The more you specialize, the more you develop new skills, the more you and so you should always update in terms of, if maybe you left a university with, say, engineering, right? But the more you gain work experience, the more you develop your skills, maybe the more you even further your education, so you do your master's or whatever, specialize into, say, structural engineering, specializing in ABC. So hone those career interests, because it makes it more direct for employers when they're going through your profile. So he potentially might have, in fact, the skills that we might want.
Yeah.
So keep updating your profile.
Yeah.
As well. Also list your achievements.
Yeah, achievements very important.
Milestones, all those things. All those things. Just keep updating.
Yeah.
The more active you are, the chances are of you getting employment will be probably higher.
And also on LinkedIn, right? They offer, I know, LinkedIn Learning. So just a quick disclaimer: we're not trying to market LinkedIn as the number one tool, right? So this is just us, a tool that we found very effective, right? Well, that you found very effective. I haven't used it much. So there's something on there called LinkedIn Learning, right? And it's similar to, I don't know if you've ever heard of Udemy. It's also it's a platform where you can buy courses, and you can actually go through those courses, and they give you a certificate at the end, like a LinkedIn Learning certificate at the end. I've done plenty of those. Right? The costs differ depending on the course you want to do. So for example, like you said, you need to be very specific in terms of your career stream, right? So if you want to be a mechanical engineer, make sure you put mechanical engineer, not just engineer. But the learning tool has, if you type in mechanical engineer, it has it's almost like YouTube videos, but like pre-recorded videos. That's the term. So it's pre-recorded videos of your learnings, and there's activities on there as well that you have to practice in order for you to get the certificate. Yeah, you can also add that goes to your LinkedIn profile, and that also makes you more marketable for your career.
Exactly.
So even like Udemy courses are $100, $200, just depends what you're looking for. I personally done strategic management because I want to be more strategic in the way I manage myself as well as businesses that we run. So that's one of the courses I've done, and it's not long. It actually shows you 5 minutes, 10 minutes. This section of the course will take 10 minutes. This section will take 5 minutes. So, and you can adjust the speed of the person's talking. So that's also pretty cool. and helps your profile.
Okay, interesting stuff. So another add-on
Yeah.
to the LinkedIn one. Right? I know there's Udemy and there's also what Skillshare.
Yeah, Skillsoft, something like that.
Yes, yeah. So it's all those things that you can use.
Yeah, another one called The Creed. What's the other one?
Coursera.
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 Oh, Coursera. There's a Coursera. The updating is when they say you should say you have a network, no? Right? Okay, you have a connect of a particular company that you want to work for, and you see that there's someone who is maybe a hiring manager, or he is the actual owner of the company. Right? They say that if you want to reach out to that person, right, it should always be in a personalized manner. Right? Don't just send a generic, hi, I'm looking for this, I did this, here's my CV. Make it more personalized, you know, talk about how, call him by the name. Hi, Smang Mang, you know. I'm Cloney, I do this, I have skills in this, I'm looking for this particular position in this particular company.
Yes.
Please advise on what I should do, or how I should go about, you know, obtaining this position, whatever. And chances are, because it's personalized, you know, it's not a generic thing like auto
response.
It's more, it's something you put thought into. You know, the chances of them replying with solid advice is actually higher. Same thing with if you have someone who's in say you have your HR manager or a finance manager, and obviously it's the subordinate position, maybe a clerk or whatever. You see there's an opening and you know the finance manager. Give him a shout to say, you know what, I want this position. How do you think I should go about applying for it, and what's the best? What do you think they would expect from me?
Yeah. And I think also check if it's for you.
Exactly.
You know, back to our previous is, if you studied law and you go into a finance position, is it something you want to do? Like, are you willing to go through, coming from this whole law background, are you willing to now move into a finance position? You know, understand yourself as well. Don't be ridiculous in the sense of just, okay, so I've studied, I can't get a job, let me just do anything. Right? Understand if it's for you. If it's not for you, you're just going to be unhappy, miserable, and you'll be one of those people who come home crying to your spouse, your family, because work is like this, work is like that. So I think really understand yourself if it's what you want to do or not.
Yeah. So another thing I found was, it's pretty obvious, but turning on your notifications for job openings and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because obviously when you, like for me when I was still looking for work, when I got LinkedIn, the algorithm asks you exactly what it is that you are looking for, or what are you good at, you know, so they can obviously give you the relevant job openings. So they give you a number of things like full-time employment, part-time employment, learnerships, internships, all those things, right? It even gives you links to people that you might know, right? Who work in those companies, right? So just keep your notifications on, because you never know what might actually pop up. You say, and I keep applying to those jobs that are
and talk to the people as well. Exactly. A lot of them will respond to you.
Exactly.
Also, LinkedIn is not the only platform. There is Facebook.
Yes.
There is WhatsApp. If you have the person's number, if it's your family member, if it's your friend, if it's your friend's friend, your family, send them a WhatsApp. It's simple. Just say them, look, this is what I'm looking for. I know you're in this company. I want to work in corporate, for example. If anything does come up, please do let me know. You know, but be very specific, like you said, looking for this position.
What I found quite interesting was even if you are unemployed, right? There will be a section by LinkedIn when you create your own profile. It says current position, right? So obviously, if you are employed and you're looking for another job, you obviously put current position as maybe branch manager, for example. So even if you are unemployed, open that current position tab, you know, fill in those details. So you can use the current position, but then specify as you're doing a variety of things at a time. So even if you're a student, say that you're a student who's maybe still doing their studies in whatever the case may be. If you're doing research, type
Why though? Why do you think we should do that?
Because it shows initiative, like it shows that the person is busy with something. You understand?
Okay.
So it shows them that yes, I am unemployed, but I'm still keeping busy. I'm still trying to improve in certain things. You know,
Yeah.
it shows optimism, rather,
Okay.
in most cases. So things like that show that you're researching, or you're part of a research team or whatever. Even if it's voluntary or whatever, just do it. Your student completing. If you're looking for jobs, write it.
Mm.
You understand? So those things, write them under various. Do not use the word seeking opportunity. It's of desperation, apparently, because it makes it seem like, I need, yes, you do need a job, but you don't want to come off as desperate.
Yeah.
You understand? So use other alternative words,
Like you said, be more specific.
be more specific, show them exactly what you're doing.
What you're doing, what you're looking for,
Exactly.
where you want to be,
Exactly.
type of thing.
Exactly those things. Like, don't use seeking opportunities. It just looks very desperate. Yes, I understand you are desperate, but no one likes a desperate beggar.
Yeah.
Just emphasize was to emphasize more on skills rather than your job position or what you've ever done. So if you worked at an IT company or whatever, you would write down the specific skills that you learned in that position. Say it's data capturing, or it's cloud computing, or it's anything, communications, or whatever it is, any specific skill that you know is in demand, or that you know that can be useful to you in your next position. Emphasize the skills.
Yeah.
Particularly, employers look more for skills rather than hey, I was an IT guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So just specialize and emphasize on the skills that you've learned and the skills that you have.
I think let's look at some skills that makes people more marketable for employment, right? And also helps them build their personal brand, right? So number one, obviously, know who you are, know what you like. That helps you build your brand nonetheless. So in terms of skills, let's look at interpersonal skills, right? That's something that people must have. That's just your basic socializing skills, responsibility, that forms part of your interpersonal skills. Taking responsibility, the way you interact with people, that forms part of interpersonal, and also your teamwork, that also forms part of interpersonal, right? So those are some of the skills that you have to have. And another important skill, speaking about teamwork, is leadership, right? You have to have leadership. We're not all born leaders. There is that debate of whether someone's born a leader or not. I don't think everyone wants to take charge, right? It's not what you do, it's not what you're good at. Let someone else take charge. You're good at executing, right? Let them lead it. They create the vision, you execute. So maybe that's what you're good at. Like I said, know yourself. But leadership is an important skill if you want to be employed, right? They look for people who are able to take charge of a situation, to find a way around it, Another thing is communication. I think we touched it on interpersonal. How you communicate to people. A lot of the things is not always what you say, it's more how you say it. And I've actually had this debate with my girlfriend around what I say and how I say things. It can get quite frustrating. Is that maybe I said, look, you're not good at this. That already it takes you, it makes you feel less of a person. Whereas if I said, Shoni, just hear me out real quick.
You sit the person down,
Yeah, hear me out real quick. You're really good at doing 1, 2, 3, right? So I think maybe focus on this. This task, I don't think it's for you. I see you better here, right? I'm not telling you that you suck here. I'm telling you that I want you to do these few because this is what you're good at.
I get you.
Right? So in that sense. So how you communicate is very important. And then another thing I want to talk about is IT skills, right? And computer skills, right? Go hand in hand. IT skills in terms of knowing Microsoft Office, right? It's the number one used computer tool, right, in South Africa. In America, a lot of them use Apple products and whatever else there is, right? So there's those products, but in South Africa, we mostly use Microsoft Office, right? So know those tools. By those tools, I mean know how to use PowerPoint, know how to use Excel, know how to use Microsoft Words. It's your basic fundamental skills. If you can get those three right, you're good at any employment. I can tell you why, because in my own experience, PowerPoint, I've made presentations. I make some really good presentations, right? And I've seen this with other people as well who've been there longer than me or older than me. They don't have that presentation skills, you know. And I was fortunate enough to have that training, to have a computer when I was younger. So I obviously play around with it, have those skills, especially with Excel. Excel is, I think, the most used.
So presentation skills is also a must-have skill.
It's definitely a must-have skill, right? Because if you're asked to present something, right, you want to present, you have a solution to a problem in the company, right? Most likely you're going to do it on Microsoft PowerPoint, right? That's the platform you're going to use. If you use on Word, it's a bit hard to navigate. You got to scroll down or whatever. PowerPoint slideshow, you get the clickers as well. So while you're presenting, you click it, next slide, you talk to your slides. It's very simple, right? To communicate your idea better, especially if you can work on PowerPoint. Microsoft Word, just good for drawing up any formal communications, for editing documents and those type of things. Good to have. Excel, must have. There's a lot of formulas on Excel which help you in terms of your numeracy skills, right? Instead of you going there in your head, if you're not good at maths, right? Obviously you're going to do like, go and calculate 110 times 98. You're not going to know that, right? Go onto Excel, put 100, put the formula in, there we go, done for you. Copy all of that across the whole slide. So Excel, must-have tool. And recently I found that one of the IT tools that they're really using now is Power BI. Right? Power BI is just Excel on steroids. Right? That's literally what it is. It creates a graphical dashboard. So what it does is you have Excel here in the background, you have Power BI as the front. So whatever you edit in the background, it's almost like Excel will be your coding section, right? So whatever you edit in the background, it will graphically display that on a little graph or however you set it, right? And then you can also make it interactive where you can select on the graph if you're doing amount of people in the company, right? Sorted according to age groups, so 18 to 25, 25 to 30, whatever. You click on that, it can take you straight to the data, which shows that Hloni at this age group, you know, he's in this area or whatever the case is. So that is actually quite a new tool that you guys need to really focus on. Power BI, also an Office tool. It's free if you have Microsoft Office, right? So just learn how to edit it. And
so in terms of the IT skills, bro, like, I mean, surely those ones, apart from the Power BI, the other ones are pretty much, well, they've been around for quite some time now. So, but surely there's some new, like, technologies or softwares that have been implemented in corporate that people can maybe study or learn or upskill themselves. And what do you think those would be then?
So it depends on the industry. You know, like if you're an accountant, for example, you're going to want to learn Sage. It's an accounting tool, right, which makes your life easier. So you don't have to do so much balancing and manual balancing and those type of things. If you're working in a customer sales environment, you're going to want to learn how to use SAP CRM, right, customer relationships management, right, that's what it is. That helps you keep track of your customers and also understand them better in terms of who they are, where they come from, are they a local resident, have they moved from Zimbabwe to South Africa, or whatever the case is. Those are just two of the tools I can think of from the back of my head.
That's pretty much it for now.
That's pretty much it for now. That I could just think of, but I mean those tools, well, like I said, it depends on your industry.
I think you rounded it up quite well. But just to add on, also to make yourself more marketable and obviously to stay employable, right? Also look at things that like improving your knowledge, right? Reading. So you want to be a sales. Say you're a sales consultant, but your end goal is to be a sales manager or regional sales, or to be the best seller in your region. So you most probably want to hone your skills and learn more about selling techniques, how to chase clients, how to make customers happy, all those things. Learn, improve your techniques as well. So just improve your knowledge on what it is that you want to do, get more experience.
By doing voluntary work,
Voluntary
that's one
work.
way to get more experience.
Get more
You
experience.
know, sorry, but just to cut you
Mhm.
off there, one of the things that you can also do
Mhm.
is approach the company
Mhm.
or the person you know who can the referral person.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Tell them you want to just have some on-site training.
Mhm.
Just to
Mhm.
go through it. You don't want to be paid. You just want to have some sort of training, which you
Mhm.
can actually do.
I like that one, bro. I like that one. So yeah, more experience. Attitude. I think attitude also. It's also an important factor. You need to have the right attitude.
Yeah.
You need to, first of all, believe that you will get the job. Actively manifest, keep working towards that environment that you will be one day employed. It's obviously tough, but have the right attitude. Once you do get the work, give it your all, put in 100% effort. Don't undermine or leave any task, unturned. Have a positive attitude for every single task. Wherever you face challenges, have the right mindset, the right attitude. I think that also it reflects to others, and also I think keeps you employable in that sense.
Yeah.
Also to be productive. By productivity I mean what are you doing outside your 9 to 5? Because I remember you once said that yes, it's a 9 to 5, but you don't necessarily work the full 8 or 9 hours.
Yeah.
What you're doing after that, being productive, are you learning a new skill? Are you taking initiative to go beyond what you're actually asked to do with
Yeah.
your job? Are you starting a side hustle, whatever? Just keep yourself productive, exercise, whatever. Just to be productive, get your mindset in continuous flow of motion, right? Have a killer CV.
Yeah. It's
I
very important.
very important, polished CV, to die for CV, have one. I think you know more about having
Yeah.
like a solid CV, how that improves your chances like dramatically, bro.
Yeah, no, so it really does. So in terms of CV, right, there's a lot of different views on a CV. One thing that I really enjoy about a CV is making it more marketable, in the sense that it looks better, right? So the usual CV is your black and white page on Microsoft Word, right? And then you just have your stuff listed. Then you have a heading, your educational background. Then you have the next heading, your employment background. Another heading to say your references or whatever. I personally have gone beyond that, in the sense of actually putting images on the CV. And I don't mean pictures of yourself. I mean where you would say references, John Doe. So I'll actually go as far as put in the logo of the company. So if the logo was, for example, ABSA's logo, I'd put the logo next to John Doe's name with his number below that. It just looks better, right? It has that aesthetic feel to it, whereas someone who has a black and white CV. And your CV doesn't have to be 5 pages long. You don't have to have a long essays of you've done this in 1950. You've done this, then you've done this then. What's the last 4 to 5 things you've done? Let's list that. If there's more that you've done, cool. Keep it aside. Have it in the back of your mind. You should be able to talk to those things, because generally they don't look much at your CV. They do a quick overview that he's worked in this industry, that industry. He has this educational background. Cool. That's it. But they don't go as far as reading, I, Ramiro Cara, have been blah blah blah. That's it. They don't do all of that.
Okay.
Right. So you want to get straight to the point. Whether you bullet form it that you were a data capturer, that you were a CA, that you then moved into this, then moved into that, with a year stamp on it. They don't need to know specifics that in 1950, on the 4th of July, you were a data capturer, and then in 2000 you were this at this stage. They don't need to know that. They need to know in 2015 you've done this. This was your roles and responsibilities, and then
skills.
Not necessarily the skills. That'll be another section, but that actually really shows what skills you have, right? By listing those type of things. List the top 4 to 5. I wouldn't go further than listing 5 of the things you've done there.
Okay.
Because like I said, they're not going to read everything.
Yeah.
You must talk to it.
Yeah. There's obviously a lot of CVs that they have to go to.
There's a lot of CVs and there's a lot of information on the CV.
You understand? So summarize it, make it very like you said, aesthetic, make it sexy, make it appealing, you know, the best, make the best CV win. It's not Hunger Games or such. Last couple of things is, you have a killer CV, you get called up. One thing I think people maybe fail to do is practicing interview techniques.
Yeah.
You know, I think if you can honestly practice how to have a, you know, how to excel in an interview, I mean, how to answer questions, body language, your terminologies, your tone, the pace,
Your dressing.
the dressing, all those things. You know,
It does vary.
Mm.
So not your traditional. We have I sit here. We have one person sitting there, or two people sitting there. It's not always like that.
Yeah.
There's different types of interviews,
Yes.
right? So the interview could also be around you solving. They give you a case study. You have 45 minutes to solve the case study. From there, you come back and you present your solution.
And that's the interview.
And that's an interview. I had that interview. So I got there. I had 45 minutes to. They gave me a script. Right, there's a situation in the industry. You have 45 minutes. Go into the other room. Write out your plans on there. You'll present that. Said okay, cool. Went to the next room. Done the whole thing. A lot of stuff I didn't know. So if you don't know something, leave it out. Just say you don't know. Right. So I left it blank. When they asked me why it was blank, I said I didn't know. I haven't had. I've never come across this. So I don't know how to solve this issue. Type of thing. So there's different types of interviews. Google the types of interviews that there are, and practice, for each one. Because you don't know. One thing that you should do is ask them when you get an opportunity. They call you for interview. Ask them what type of interview is it. Could be a panel interview where there's 4 people and they interview you, right? What else could it be? It could be, like I said, the problem-solving interview. Very different to a panel interview. Could just be a general, let's just chat type of
conversation.
Interview. It could be one where I take you to a coffee shop as an interview. Skype interviews, they're the best popular now. Skype, the Microsoft Teams one, Zoom, that's quite popular now. Make sure you have stable Wi-Fi connection if you can do that interview, So yeah.
I think also for interviews you must also interview the interviewer.
Yeah, that's important.
So ask them about like the company itself. Because I think don't just ask because you're trying to be, whatever. Actually be a genuinely concerned potential employee. Like ask them about the company culture, the growth of the particular position, all those things, right? What does the interviewer think about working for that company himself?
One question I think you should really ask them is, are they happy?
Yes.
Ask them what's their position, are they happy and why?
Exactly.
Right? You need to understand, and I think look at their body language as well. Just like how they're looking at yours and they're observing you.
Interview them as well.
You are the same person as them right now, right? You look at them, look at their body language. Are they comfortable when you ask this question? When you asked, are you happy? What was their first reaction? Did they look around? Did they start thinking? At that point, you can sense the doubt in them, But obviously that you learn those skills as you go along.
True.
But yeah, I think that's a very valid point.
Yeah, and then I think the last one is just to dress to
impress.
Just to impress. Yeah, like take pride in your image.
Yeah. If you have any comments, anything you want to discuss further, drop us a comment, subscribe, like, send us a DM, and we'll have that one-on-one conversation. That's it. Peace.